98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. How are you this morning? I hope everything is good with you. And we're here until midday today. So I switch on the radio this morning and I was shocked with one particular news story that I heard today about a place that has some very fond memories in all of our hearts. I'm talking about Dublin Zoo. And there's probably not one person listening who hasn't paid a visit to Dublin Zoo in their lifetime. We all have great childhood memories of going there. Maybe it was that you made your communion, like in Jeremy's case. He's a lovely photo standing in his communion shorts beside the flamingos. Maybe you went on a first date with your now partner. We want to hear from you about your fond memories and stories of one of Dublin's most beloved and oldest attractions. Because, as you may have heard in our news bulletins right throughout the morning, Dublin Zoo is facing the risk of closure. The zoo, which is currently closed under level 5 restrictions, has also seen crowds dwindle this year due to social distancing rules and crowd limitations. So even when they were open, they weren't fully open. They had to limit their crowds. And when I heard that it costs €500,000 per month to maintain the care of the animals living in Dublin Zoo, and that cash reserves are beginning to run out, according to the zoo, they are facing imminent closure without our help. And I'm going to let you know in a couple of minutes how you can help. We'll be talking to Dublin Zoo about how you can help. But in the meantime, I want to hear from you right now on 6797 981, or send me a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I want to hear your fondest memory of visiting the zoo, either as a child or as an adult or whatever. Send me a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98. We all have memories. I, for example, over the last couple of years, have thoroughly enjoyed the Wild Lights experience, and it's an awful pity that it couldn't happen this year, because for the last 3, 4, 5 years it has been the highlight of winter, actually, and something to look forward to, and it brightened up the winter nights, and I've been there every year since Wild Lights started, and it really is an uplifting experience on the dark winter's nights. So I've thoroughly enjoyed that over the last couple of years. I want you to share your memories of visiting the zoo over the years. Send me a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98, or better still, call me and let's have a chat on 6797 981. Danielle, you're on 98 FM. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Danielle. It would be a tragedy if Dublin Zoo were to close, and let's hope we can, over the next couple of weeks, raise enough money to keep them afloat. But you have some great memories from visiting the zoo.
Yeah, we went a lot as kids, and I remember the one thing that stuck out for me was obviously the live animals, but they had this like a mechanical exhibition of dinosaurs. I don't know if you remember, and they used to make noises as well. And like we, just as kids with me and my brother and friends, we used to love going. And now I'm doing it with my own kids. And just like you mentioned, the lights in winter as well. Not only going for the summer to see the animals with the kids, but the lights, they used to love that as well. And
I know. I have to say that's been my highlight over the last couple of years. I thought it was a really clever thing to do.
The last couple of years, my nanny would buy myself, herself, my mum, my partner, and our 2 kids tickets, and that was our Christmas treat, and we'd all go together and spend the day. Like, so it's not just the animals, not just the light, it's those family moments together.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's one of those places when you're in, like, out on the African plains and whatever, you forget you're even in Dublin, or let alone the Phoenix Park. You forget where you are, really. It's amazing what they've done with the place.
It is, and it will be devastating if, I hope it doesn't, but if it went, it would be devastating for the people that live in Ireland and then tourists. It's a huge attraction. I've got family from up north, and they prefer Dublin Zoo than Belfast Zoo.
It is much better, by the way.
Yeah, I've never been to Belfast.
Yeah,
Zoo,
it's much better.
And they come to do day trips. Well, they used to do day trips down to Dublin Zoo, and bypass Belfast just to come to Dublin Zoo. So it would be a shame if anything happened to us.
All right, so some lovely memories, and obviously we're all going to keep our fingers crossed, and we'll be letting you know how you can support them and keep them afloat for the next while in a couple of minutes. Thanks very much, Danielle. I want you to send me a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Send me a WhatsApp voice note with your favourite memory of Dublin Zoo, because we want to create an awareness of it. We all love the place. Well, the vast majority of us love the place, and it might be once or twice a year you might visit, and then visiting in the winter for the wild lights. And in fact, Simon, that's your highlight, is going to the wild lights.
Yeah, I went to it last year with my girlfriend, and I thought it was great.
It really was, and I have to give them credit. It's such a clever way of using the space that they have at a time of year when not as many people will visit the zoo. It really was very, very clever, and I've gone every year for the last couple of years, and it is an awful... this winter is lacking something without it, isn't it?
Yeah, and I went on the odd trip as well with the family, so I would miss it, definitely.
I think everybody would. would. And like I said, I was listening to the news bulletins this morning, and there was talk of COVID and talk of this and talk of that. But the one thing that jumped out of the news bulletin at me today was that Dublin Zoo could be facing financial disaster.
Yeah, I was the same as well when I heard it.
So we're going to be filling you in a couple of minutes with ways in which you can support them. And, all they're asking for is a little bit of support, whatever it is you can afford. Anyway, keep your messages coming in. 0877 98 98 98. I want to hear from you about your favourite memories of Dublin Zoo. This is Teresa.
Bringing my child for the first time to Dublin Zoo to experience what I experienced when I was younger.
And it is lovely. And it is one of those things that most parents will do at one stage or another with their young kids. And for kids to see their eyes light up and they see the giraffes and the elephants and everything else, it's amazing. 087 98 98 98 is our WhatsApp number. Send me a WhatsApp voice note with your favourite memories of visiting Dublin Zoo. Now, Billy, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Billy?
Yeah, like everyone else, I've been at the zoo with my family. We had great memories. But whatever appeal you make now, 500,000 a month, you might get enough for 2 months. But I'm just saying the government should be supporting the zoo. This should be a no-brainer because they were asked to close like all the other businesses. And you have the FAI there, the Football Association of Ireland, getting millions and millions, and just they keep on wasting it and wasting it. The zoo should be a priority. It's one of our biggest attractions, like Guinness Storehouse and Rocket Castle and all different things. It's a no-brainer. The government should be putting money into it. This should not be happening. This is only the start of probably lots of other things closing.
Well, let's hope this isn't one of the things that closes, because it is, like you said, it is one of the most popular attractions in the whole of Ireland, particularly here in Dublin. And for us Dubs, it has a special place in our heart. It really does. And I'm hearing that coming in. I doubt there's anybody, or maybe one or two, but I doubt there's many who haven't at one stage or another visited the zoo. You're
right, Adrian, but the government should step in. This should be done today, straight away. Money should be made available. The taxpayers don't have a problem paying for that. At least we know where it's going. It's been spent well, not like all the millions and the millions that are being wasted on the FAI.
Yeah, all right. So you would like to see the government putting in a few bob to make sure that it doesn't
of course I would,
fall apart.
I would,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, Billy, thanks very much indeed. Keep your messages coming in to 0877 98 98 98. And lots of lovely memories coming in of your visits to the zoo. And as we said, the reason we're talking about this today is I felt it important to highlight this campaign that Dublin Zoo has launched, and they're urging you to help try keep them afloat. And if you go onto their website at dublinzoo.ie, you will see all of the details of ways in which you can help. I'll be talking to the zoo in a couple of minutes, and some great ideas for ways in which you can help to keep Dublin Zoo afloat, because they are losing money hand over fist. It costs €500,000. Just think about that number for a second. €500,000 every month just to care for the animals, to feed them, to care for them, to pay for the staff to look after them and all of that. Anne sent me this message.
Morning, Jeremy and Aidan. My favourite memory was nearly 30 years ago having my son's 4th birthday party in the zoo. I even remember what he was wearing. We had a fantastic time. That is my fondest memory.
And some great memories coming in. This is Claire.
As a kid, every year that's where we went for our school tours. And me and my best friend from the day we started school, we're now in our 40s, and her birthday was last August, and I took her to the zoo for the day. None of our kids, just me and just her, and we had the best day ever. So let us know how we can donate to that to help us, because it's just has to be helped.
Absolutely. And I think, and so say all of us, as they say. I'm joined on the line by Hannah, and Hannah is a zookeeper at Dublin Zoo. Hannah, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
How are you? Hannah, we're being flooded with messages from our listeners of their favourite memories of Dublin Zoo, and that's the point. Dublin Zoo, especially for us Dubs, holds a very special place in our hearts, and everybody who's been on so far would hate to see it disappear. Tell me how big a problem Dublin Zoo is facing at this minute.
Well, at the moment, because we've been through 2 lockdowns, we've had to close the zoo twice, and the cost of running the zoo is so high. We are slowly running out of our emergency funds. I mean, at the moment, it's over 500,000 a month to keep the zoo going. If I break that down, in smaller amounts, I work with the elephants. So to feed an elephant a day, it's €75. So if you kind of do the sums and add it all up, it's $5,000 a week. So it is a lot of money, and unfortunately we are running out of that. So we do need the donations, and we're just asking if anyone can help us in any way, to go to our website at dublinzoo.ie, and just to help out any kind of fundraising, donations. There'll be adoption packs as well, so anything will help us at the moment. Now,
one of my colleagues earlier on today, I won't name her actually, but as a Christmas present for her mammy, who loves penguins, she, as a Christmas present, has adopted a penguin in Dublin Zoo. So what do I get if I adopt, say, a penguin or an elephant or whatever?
Well, you'll be sent out in the post. You'll get information leaflets. They're working on the packs at the moment. So I'm not 100% sure what comes in each pack, but there'll be information leaflets. You'll probably get a little bag, little tokens, little presents in it as well. So it is a nice idea for Christmas.
And in fact, I was on the website earlier, and one thing that you do get even with the pack is you get a free admission to the zoo as well, which is fantastic. So this year, obviously, 2020 has been a head melt for absolutely everybody. Companies have been drastically affected. And we know, for example, that the zoo was open for a period of time, but you were very limited in the amount of people you could have in.
Yeah, unfortunately, with all the guidelines, even though it is an open space, we had to restrict our numbers. We would gradually let them come into the zoo so everyone was evenly spaced out. We also had a one-way system going, so there was no one passing each other. So it was a little bit difficult. We had reduced numbers, but at least we were open. So hopefully we can open up again and get people in the gate.
Absolutely. So what you're looking to do, obviously we want to see the zoo survive. We hope that in 2021 our lives can start to return to some sort of normality, and you can have people in again, and you can have the wild lights again next winter, which is something that's sadly missed this year, I have to say. But this is about keeping the zoo ticking over for the time being, basically.
Yeah, all the money that would be donated and raised, it's all going directly to the animals, for their food, any veterinary care that they might need, their housing. So it's all directly to the animals. No one else is getting any of it. So yeah, hopefully, we'll get a little bit of money and it'll just all go towards their care.
Okay, so there are a number of ways that our listeners can help. And just to go, well, firstly, visit dublinzoo.ie, which has all of the information of how to help. But one way that you can help right this very second is you can text the word Dublin Zoo, well, the words Dublin Zoo, to 50300 to donate €4. So the text will cost you €4 and that goes straight to Dublin Zoo. So once again, text Dublin Zoo to 50300 to donate €4. You can sign up to donate money monthly, to donate money now, to adopt an animal, which costs €50, and you can there's a whole list of animals that you can adopt. I love that idea, I have to say. And as I said, one of my colleagues, as a Christmas present for her mother who loves penguins, has bought a penguin adoption pack, which is a great idea, I have to say. So how are the animals? Obviously the animals are being as well cared for now as ever. Do they miss people visiting?
Well, certainly the zoo is very quiet at the moment. I work with the elephants, and I have to say I don't think the elephants are too much. They just interact so well with each other. We keep them very busy, but certainly some of the other animals are, especially the primates. Just the buzz of having all the visitors in and around the zoo, and the interactions. Sometimes you can see the primates will go high up in the trees just to kind of look down on everyone and watch what's going on in the zoo. So some of them definitely are, and it would be nice to get people back in.
All right, as I said, fingers crossed you will be able to reopen for business in the new year, and hopefully sooner rather than later there will be no restrictions on the amount of people that can visit the zoo in 2021. So we have our fingers crossed. But in the meantime, as you said, it is costing €500,000, €500,000 every month just to feed and care and look after the animals in the zoo. And that needs to be done to keep the place afloat for us to be able to visit it again when things return to some sort of normality. And as I said, Hannah, and I'm sure you know this yourself, the zoo just has a very special place in people's hearts. So I think we all want to see it survive.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be too long. And I've had members of public coming up to me saying, my daughter was born on the same day as this elephant or this chimpanzee or orangutan, and we come in every year to celebrate their birthdays. So people are growing up with some of the animals here, and there's a nice connection that they have with the zoo. So it would be sad if we couldn't open again. Absolutely.
All right. But look, just one final question, Hannah. How did you become a zookeeper?
Well, I did a degree in Trinity College. I did a zoology one, and then I went over to the UK and I did an internship in one of the zoos in the UK, and I just took off from there. All
right, well, fair play, and keep up the good work. And like I said, hopefully with donations from the public, you'll be able to keep the place afloat for the next couple of months, and that business will return to normal in 2021. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Hannah, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you.
That is Hannah, who is a zookeeper at Dublin Zoo. Noeline, I'm going to talk to you straight after the break. You've some great memories of times in Dublin Zoo. I'll be with you straight after the break. Hang on there for 1 second, and I've a load of WhatsApps to play as well. Memories of Dublin Zoo. And once again, if you want to support their campaign to keep the zoo afloat, they need to be raising €500,000 a month just to keep their heads above water, basically. All you have to do is go on to dublinzoo.ie and all of the details are there. But you can make an instant donation. By the way, I love the idea of the adopting an animal. It's a lovely Christmas present for somebody who might be a real animal lover. It's 50 quid. And it's just a very clever little Christmas present, to be honest. And if loads of us did that, loads of us will be supporting the zoo, and loads of us would have our Christmas present sorted. We'll take a quick break. Back in just a moment.
The sound of the city, from Furhouse to Finglas. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
So the news today is that Dublin Zoo have launched a Save Dublin Zoo campaign. Because of the financial losses caused by ongoing COVID-19 restrictions continue to mount, they are literally running out of money. And they've launched a campaign just to keep the animals fed and watered and looked after is costing €500,000 a month. and their emergency cash reserves have more or less run out. So without financial support, Dublin Zoo says it's concerned it may have to make the difficult decision to close its gates to the public. No! Nobody wants that. So it's up to us to try and even donate €4 in a text message. Go on to dublinzoo.ie for all of the details. Adrian sent me this message.
Hey Adrian here. My memories of the zoo go back a long time. You could ride Sarah the elephant, and then you bought a plate of carrots and you could feed the elephants like right in front of them. And then at about 4:30 they used to dress all the chimps up and they'd have a tea party. I great memories of
Great
the zoo.
memories, absolutely. Pete sent me this
Morning,
message.
Adrian. Fondest memory I have at Dublin Zoo, believe it or not, my late grandmother brought me, my brother, my sister to Dublin Zoo with her partner Tommy at the time, and we had a fantastic day. Brought us on the bus from Milltown all the way into town, walked us up to Dublin Zoo, brought us in, spent the day out. It was amazing. It's one of my fondest memories of Dublin Zoo. It was one of the very few memories I have of my grandmother, so it would be sad if it did close. So I think if the country pulled together, the government get involved, we might be able to keep Dublin Zoo open. It needs to stay open. It's a fantastic community. Brilliant place. Absolutely love Dublin Zoo.
All right, Pete, thanks very much indeed. And Nolan, you have great memories there with your daughter.
Oh, I've great memories of me when I was small. I remember the train. There was a train that used to bring you around the zoo when I was little. But Grace, my daughter, she's 8 at the moment, and since she was small, we brought her. Her brother, my brother, her father, godfather, brings her all the time. But because of it, she's a real animal lover. So we were actually lately saying, what are we going to, what's Santa going to bring her? That's something that's definitely going to be on her list.
So are you going to adopt one of the animals?
Without a doubt.
It's a brilliant Christmas present. As I said, one of my colleagues sitting at her desk earlier on, when she heard about all of this, there and then went on to dublinzoo.ie.
Yeah, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah, and she adopted a penguin for her mammy, and she'll get a whole pack.
You get a choice of what you adopt.
Yes, yeah. You just go onto the website, and for example, you can adopt an elephant, a red panda, a gorilla, a giraffe, and then you get all sorts of. Let me tell you. Actually, I'll tell you what you get. It's really good, actually. You get a certificate of adoption, one free entry to Dublin Zoo, a car sticker, a photo of your chosen animal at Dublin Zoo, a pen, a pin badge, a tote bag, and a fact sheet on your chosen animal. That's a lovely Christmas present.
Brilliant.
It really is.
And I know this little one, she will cherish that. She'd frame that thing because I own an animal. Like Grace she's animal mad. Never ever was into dolls. She's just animal mad. So if you want to go anywhere, Grace goes.
And by the way, just Nolene, as soon as you hang up the phone, I would go straight on to dublinzoo.ie because I'm just looking at it and they are selling out already.
Yeah.
So get onto it straight away.
You know that? And you know what? It's a great fund. Because nobody that's from Dublin wants to see that closed.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No way.
And yeah, so straight away, Nolan, get on to dublinzoo.ie. They're literally selling out in front of my eyes on the website here. So get going. Elephants are gone, red pandas are gone, giraffes are gone.
But no! Okay, I'm going.
Yeah, go on, go. Good luck. Right, very quickly. Get on to dublinzoo.ie. I just think it's a lovely Christmas present. I never thought we'd be having this conversation. Get on to dublinzoo.ie and adopt an animal now. You could grab a penguin, pick up a penguin. They're still there. It costs £50 and it's a great idea, and the money is to keep Dublin Zoo afloat. Marina.
I remember when I was only young going to the Dublin Zoo with my school, and it was just deadly. And then I grew up and having a young lad, we only went to go once, and it was a mix-up of a day, and we haven't got a chance to go back down, and it'd be an awful shame if they do close it down, because it's a family fun place. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not right.
All right, Marina, thank you. Helen?
One of my favourite memories of the zoo is the fantastic Santa visits that you could have there. The Santa breakfasts in the morning, meeting Santa. It was just magical for the kids. And everybody just needs to get out there and donate whatever they can to help the zoo, because we can't let something like Dublin Zoo close.
Absolutely not. DublinZoo.ie for all of the details. You can donate by text message. You can adopt an animal, but they're selling out quickly, so get going very quickly. Wendy.
Hi Adrian, my name is Wendy. I have had a annual pass for the last 13 years for the zoo, and we absolutely loved it. I actually got the pass for the first time when my kids were only babies, even though they were free, because we used to go so often. And I was a childminder, and on every midterm or during the summer, I'd always bring the kids I used to mind, and it was always a brilliant day out, and the kids loved it, and the wildlife were brilliant as well. It would be absolutely a tragedy if Dublin Zoo closed, and I hope for Jerry and all the staff that it doesn't.
Absolutely. Aaron.
Hey, Adrian. Yeah, look, I'm all for putting money to the zoo to help them out, but if it's costing about $6 million a year, why is the government not funding this? Why does it always have to come to the people to fund any kind of attraction in the country that is struggling? Like, we're in an economic crisis. Why is it always the people that are left to do it and not the governments?
You don't have to, Aaron. Nobody said you have to, but if you want to, you can. Shannon.
Hey Adrian, Shannon here. Morning, Jeremy. We always got by the zoo pass every year, and I was seeing me now, like, partner, and I said, come on, we go to the zoo. And he was like, never been. He's from England, so never been. So I was like, grand, this would be lovely, like, nice little thing. And I took my youngest brother with us, thinking it'd be fun. And he turned around and said, don't you bring all your boyfriends here? I was like, oh my God, give me strength. I nearly died. I was like, he's dead when we get home. Oh, stop shouting and Germany. Thanks, Killian.
Thank you, Shannon. Joey.
How you doing, guys? Joe here. Dublin Zoo is a business. I'm sure they've paid taxes over the years, and God knows how much they've paid over the years. It's in the interest of the government to give them maybe 10 million to get them through this pandemic. Give them 10 million to keep them afloat, and Dublin Zoo will pay this money back tenfold if they remain open in taxes alone. It's a no-brainer here. Government step in, throw them 10 million. Problem sorted. It's that easy. It is that easy. Keep Dublin Zoo open. Cheers, guys.
All right, Sarah.
I have some great memories of Dublin Zoo. They had a teddy bears picnic one year, and my dad took myself and my twin sister, and you had to bring your favourite teddy bear, and it was just such a great day out as well, seeing all the animals. And it's nice because my dad passed a few years later, so it's great to have memories like that.
And the funny thing about Dublin Zoo, because it's been there since 1830, believe it or not, 1830 it first opened, we all have memories of us visiting as kids. Our own parents have memories of visiting as kids, so it's literally through the generations. Yvonne.
Hi Adrian. The last time my family and I were at Dublin Zoo was to go to Dream Nights in Dublin Zoo, which was organised by Temple Street Hospital, Crumlin, and the Dublin Zoo itself. All the families were nominated by staff of both hospitals to attend. It was a magical evening. It was lovely for our family just to go at night time when there was very few people at the zoo. All the children got up close and personal with the animals, had loads of questions answered by all the zookeepers. There was amazing food there, there was amazing entertainment there for all the children. We were really well looked after. It's a fantastic place, and we'll never forget it. Thank you.
And hopefully we won't ever have to forget it, because hopefully it will survive. And I'm fascinated with the fact that this really means something to everybody. Two more messages. This is Liz.
My memory of the zoo is back in the day, my daughter was 16 And the manager of the zoo at that time allowed me to adopt a bear. She's 41 now, so I can't even do the maths in my head. But that was a very special day, very special birthday for her, for me. And the manager at that time was such a gentleman. He really did. I think it was only £5 or £10 at the time, not loads of money, but she got to adopt the bear, go to see the bear, and for a year, which was marvellous. So I know what my son is getting for Christmas. He's getting a tiger.
Oh, get on to it quickly. One last message from Paul.
Hi guys, just a quick one. As you know, it's me and my animals. Just to let you know, Chester Zoo in the UK had a similar problem back in June, and thanks to everyone getting behind it, they were able to raise it. So I just ask everyone, please, to support the zoo, only because at the end of the day, we've got so many fun memories, and it's well worth saving. Thanks, guys.
All right, Paul, thank you very much indeed. Once again, if you would like to help in the Save Dublin Zoo campaign, even if you can only afford... I know we're all struggling, and this has been a horrible year for all of us, and a lot of people don't have as much money in their pocket this year. You might be able to afford a €4 text message. And you go on to dublinzoo.ie for all of the information about how to help. But one simple way, if you can afford... €4 on your phone bill is to send a text message, and it's very simple to do that. All right, so go on to dublinzoo.ie and you can find out all of the ways in which you can donate. You text Dublin Zoo to 50300, 5300 to donate €4. That's nice and simple. It's not an awful lot of money, and maybe you can afford to do that right now. So once again, you text Dublin Zoo to 50300 to donate €4. There's lots of other ways you can help, including adopting an animal, but I have to tell you, they are running out. They are literally running out. What's left? If you want to get onto it really quickly, there's elephants left, there's rhino and penguins. So if you want to get one of them and adopt one, and you get a whole package, it's a really very clever idea. Do it right now, dublinzoo.ie. We'll save that zoo. Here's some more good news. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, if you were listening to 98 FM's Big Breakfast with Rebecca and Brendan this morning, you will have heard that they ordered something online from supervalue.ie. And if you can tell me what that thing was, well, you could win yourself a SuperValue shopping voucher worth €250. €250 right now. So, here at 98 FM, we have thousands of euro to be won right across the week to spend on SuperValue online shopping. So earlier on this morning, Rebecca and Brendan on 98 FM's Big Breakfast ordered something. What was it? If you'd like to win yourself a €250 voucher for SuperValue online shopping, text me right now the answer to that. You start your message with SuperValue and then what it was that Rebecca and Brendan ordered online this morning. Have you any idea? Get going, Clee. Okay, you can stop. Because we now have a winner online right now. In Crumlin, Aoife Murray. Aoife, good morning.
Morning, Adrian.
How are you, Aoife?
I'm good, thanks. And
you? Very well, thank you, Aoife. Now, Aoife, you even sent little emojis of what it was that Rebecca and Brendan ordered online this morning. What did they order online this morning?
They ordered carrots.
They ordered carrots. Is that the correct answer? Did they order carrots online this morning at supervalue.ie?
Brendan, good afternoon. What would you do
sorry, I pressed the wrong button there. Yes, they did. They did order carrots from supervalue.ie this morning. Congratulations, Aoife. You've won yourself, my bad, you've won yourself a €200 voucher to do online shopping at supervalue.ie. Well done, you.
Much, I'm delighted.
And we'll give you a shout a little bit later on and we'll get that to you. A €200 voucher for SuperValue to shop online. Well done, Aoife.
Lovely, thank you.
Congratulations, thanks very much indeed. So you can stop now, but you need to keep listening, because I am now going online at SuperValue. Let me just type it in here now. Supervalue.ie. And what will I order? Oh, yes, indeed. I'm going to have a nice dinner this weekend. And with my nice dinner this weekend, I need some gravy. I don't have any gravy, so gravy! Now, there we go. Sorted. That's what I've ordered. I've ordered some gravy. Now, why am I telling you that? Because later on today, 98FM's Barry Dunn, after 12 o'clock at some stage between 12 and 4, will be asking you, what did Adrian order on supervalue.ie? And now you know what I ordered. I've ordered gravy to have with me dinner on Sunday. Okay, so there you go. Make a note of it. At some stage between 12 and 4 this afternoon, Barry Dunn will ask you what I ordered, and you'll be texting SuperValue followed by the word gravy. Not now, Cindy and Finglas. Not now. When Barry Dunn asks you this afternoon at some stage, what did Adrian buy at supervalue.ie? The answer is gravy. So make sure you're listening to Barry right throughout the afternoon, and he will tell you to text at some stage during his programme. This is 98FM.
The sound of the city, from Saggart to Sutton. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
And we're here until midday today. A pretty shocking headline appeared in the news today. Doctors are alarmed as only 20% of children have gotten the flu vaccine this year. Family doctors are urging parents to vaccinate their children against the flu after it was revealed that the uptake is very low this year. The Department of Health said that currently the take-up for the vaccine in children is around 20%. They were hoping for 60+%. The report also says that around 500 children are hospitalised each year here in Ireland due to the flu. So they're that sick, they end up in hospital. So I want you to send me a WhatsApp right now to 0877 98 98 98. If you have children, have you gotten them vaccinated against the flu? And if not, why not? As you will know, the nasal spray flu vaccine is available to all children aged 2 to 12 free of charge, FOC. And the take-up has been very minimal. So it's not going to cost you anything. So you're not getting them vaccinated to save money. I want to find out why so few of you have had your kids vaccinated against the flu. And it's not an injection, it's merely a nasal spray, and it's available free of charge to all kids aged 2 to 12. Yet only 20% of children have been vaccinated against the flu this year. And I was surprised, actually, to read that figure, that around 500 children are hospitalised each year due to the flu. That doesn't account for all of them that get the flu, but 500 kids end up in hospital every year because of the flu. So, I would like to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send us a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Have you gotten your children vaccinated? And if not, why not? That's what I want to find out. Because, as I said, it's free of charge for kids aged 2 to 12. It's not an injection, so they don't have to be fearful of that. It's just a nasal spray, and that's it, basically. The Department of Health had been hoping that up to 60% of children would be vaccinated against the flu this year, but so far it is only 20%. Sue sent me this WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98.
Hi,
Sorry, I can't come on the phone. I'm just busy in work. But yesterday I just went into my local chemist and I got my daughter the flu vaccine. Simple enough, just up the nose, and she was grand. She got a lollipop after it, so she was happy. All right, thanks.
All right, so it can be done. It's very easy. Just you go to your GP or to a pharmacy. And as I said, I'm trying to find out why. The Department of Health was hoping that 60% of children would be vaccinated against the flu this year. And given the fact that we have all sorts of other stuff floating around, we want obviously to stop kids getting sick from the flu. And it can make them very sick. Not all, but some can be very, very sick from the flu. So we want to find out why there's been such a low uptake in the flu vaccine this year. Niamh, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Niamh?
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Well, you got it done?
Yeah, my son got it done about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Mild fever, slight runny nose for a day or so after it.
And that was it?
Fine.
Yeah. And from what I understand, that doesn't even happen to all children, but some can get a runny nose.
No, it doesn't. You know what? If somebody sneezed in Galway, he'd catch the cold over here. So I wasn't surprised that he was one of them.
Okay, and that's obviously one of the reasons you decided to get the vaccine for him.
Well, the main reason was because he was hospitalised with the flu last year, and
was he really?
Yeah, he was in hospital for a week. They couldn't. He has mild asthma, which I thought was mild until the flu hit, and he couldn't breathe. They couldn't get his breathing under control. It took them a week to get his blood oxygen levels back up. It was just he's never been that sick ever, and he's never been that sick since, thank God. But just no more risks for me.
Okay, but now we were talking about how 500 children a year are hospitalised due to the flu. So your child was one of them.
I had no idea it could affect them that badly. He just started off, he wasn't well. He had a bad dose of the flu. And then the breathing started. And the thing I'll never forget is how his stomach looked like it was caving in. It just looked like it was going in.
Really?
It's so hard to describe it. I mean, I've seen him struggle to breathe before, but it's always been able to be controlled. It was, he's only got mild asthma. He's not severe.
And it was confirmed as the flu, was it?
Absolutely. It was, Well, it was the only thing they could see it to be. It was just triggered. It just attacked his breathing, and he was just so sick. He didn't wake up for days. He wasn't in a coma or anything, but he just was so sleepy, and they had him, and they were fantastic, and they got it under control, but just sitting beside his bedside for that week, I just said, no, never again. And I had no idea it could be so bad in a child.
Well, that's a figure I never realised, I have to be honest, until I read it earlier on, that around 500 kids are hospitalised each year. That doesn't account for the ones that don't end up in hospital that are actually very sick as well.
It's a horrible dose.
Yeah.
Even in an adult, it's horrible.
Okay, well, stay there for 1 second, Niamh. Steve-O, you're on 98 FM. How are you?
Not too bad.
You're a daddy, Steve-O, and you are going to get the vaccine soon.
Yeah, he says to give me a call back today, but I'm on about it the last 6 weeks, gone to every chemist in my local area, and they all said that they're sold out.
And as a matter of interest, where is your local area?
In Lucan.
In Lucan?
Yeah.
And they haven't been able to provide it for you?
No, they said that they weren't given enough doses, so I was to ring back in November, the start of November. So I rang back and he says, I'll give it till the middle of November. So I rang back yesterday and he says, no, we still haven't got it in. Give us your number and we give you a call back.
All right, so you're waiting basically.
Yeah, and my son's an asthmatic, so we're looking to get it for him as quick as I can,
And listening to Niamh just a second ago, if her story isn't a good enough reason to get children vaccinated against the flu, I don't know what is. Her young fella ended up in the hospital last year with it. So, so okay, well, fingers crossed they will get back to you sooner rather than later, and that you will get the child vaccinated. So in the Lucan area, you've been finding it very difficult, and you've been on to all the pharmacies, have you?
Yeah, I rang all of them, and they're all in the same situation.
And
but he said kids have priority now, and me and my wife will have to wait until January to get the vaccine.
She's nearly summer by then.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
All right, Steve, well, thanks very much indeed. We're going to take a very quick break. We'll take more of your calls on this. Why have only 20% of people gotten their kids vaccinated against the flu?
98.
It's 11 o'clock across Dublin. Good morning. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And this is Laura with Wednesday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. Dublin Zoo is warning it faces permanent closure unless it gets financial support. It started a fundraiser saying it needs €500,000 a month to continue to care for its animals. The facility is currently closed due to COVID-19 restrictions, with estimates suggesting it's lost out on €8 million of potential revenue this year. An investigation has been launched after a man was assaulted by a group of people in Eastwall last night. The victim's car and 4 other vehicles were also damaged in the attack at a residential complex at around 8:45. Gardaí say the victim in his 30s was taken to the Mater Hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. And toy retailers fear people will go over the border to buy for Christmas. Toy stores in the Republic are closed as part of Level 5 restrictions. However, outlets in the north have remained open. Retailers are calling for toys to be deemed essential. And now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. By the way, if there's any pharmacists listening, are you aware of a shortage of the flu vaccine for children? Because an awful lot of people have been on to us saying, I'm trying to get my child vaccinated, but we haven't been able to get it. If you are a pharmacist, let us know if supply is actually an issue, because just got another message. Waiting list in Tala for the flu vaccine. Best I was offered was January for my 9-year-old. That's why only 20% take-up, says Ed. Is there a shortage? Is there an issue with supply? I was of the impression that there wasn't, and the issue was with uptake. If you are a pharmacist, maybe you could let me know. Donna sent me this.
Hi, I have a 6-year-old girl and a 2-year-old boy, and I got them vaccinated about 2 weeks ago, and I only done it because of the year that's in it. Other than that, I probably wouldn't have got it done.
Yeah, all right. And Sarah brought her kids as well.
I was nervous to get the vaccine as well, but I knew I was going to do it because it's important. I was really nervous that I put it off 2 times. I was just worried they were going to get the flu because I was reading stuff online about it being a live vaccine. But I brought them to get it and it was fine. It was literally 2 drops of the thing in their nose and they didn't get a single symptom after it, and they've been absolutely fine, and I'm delighted I got it done. So I think everybody should go and get it done. It's really good, and then it puts your mind at rest now that they're not going to catch the flu, or they're not going to give the flu to anyone if they do, if they had gotten it. So it's really good.
All right. Now, Dara, you're on 98 FM. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Lots of people have gotten their kids vaccinated. It's an easy enough process, but you've decided not to. Why not?
No, I definitely would not do it. I just think that it's kind of counterintuitive I think it suppresses their immune system more. They don't learn to fight basic illnesses like a flu, which is a normal part of life. So I think if you're continuously vaccinating kids against silly things like the flu, you're just going to suppress their natural immunity at the end of the day. And I think I don't know, I just don't think it's a good idea.
Right. Well, the reason I was listening to Niamh there about her young fellow ending up in hospital last year, I was shocked that 500 kids a year end up in hospital. But I know personally, Dara, of a young child, the child of a colleague of mine who ended up in Crumlin Children's Hospital on Monday night, extraordinarily sick with full-blown influenza, and he was due to get the vaccine actually tomorrow, but he is a very sick little boy. Now, does that not worry you?
I mean, I think for sure there's definitely a percentage of probably kids or people in society that maybe are more susceptible to something like the flu that will react badly, but that's definitely, I think that's a rare case, and I think that in general it's better for kids to have their natural immunity, take care of these things, to be stronger. Of course, if there's kids with asthma or underlying health conditions.
But this particular child that I'm talking about doesn't. And he ended up in Crumlin the other night, very, very sick.
Okay, but I'd still say out of the population of people that get very sick, it's a very low percentage, and I understand those people if they want to prevent it in the future. But from my own experience, my kid is never, ever, ever sick. She's never getting a cold like some of the kids in her class.
Which is great. And so you obviously believe that because she's never sick, she has a fairly strong immune system.
Yes, exactly. And as I was a kid, I was actually never vaccinated against anything, and I was never ever sick growing up. Even when the measles, mumps and rubella was around, people in my class got mumps who had been vaccinated against it, but they still got mumps, and even then I didn't get that. So I think in general my immunity...
Yeah, no, I have to say I'd be the exact same, Dara. Touch wood and all that. I've never had the flu in my life. I've never caught anything. I'm never sick, thank God. And some people are just like that. I never catch anything from anybody, thank God. But you are confident in not getting your child vaccinated because you believe she's a strong enough immune system, and you're not worried. Like that kid I'm talking about who ended up in Crumlin the other night, that doesn't worry you?
No, I think to the contrary. I would believe that if she got the flu vaccine, that she might start catching a lot more common colds that she currently doesn't get. Because I've seen kids that straight after the flu vaccine suddenly start getting runny noses every week and are catching all the minor colds, maybe not the flu, but seem to be generally a bit more sick because I think they've put chemicals into their immune system and their body doesn't learn how to fight it by themselves. So I think for young children, if they're able to and they don't get really sick, I don't think they should be being injected with these.
No, they're not injected. It's just a nasal spray.
Okay, well,
so it's not even a scary injection. It's just
no. But I think whether it's an injection or not, it's the ingredients that you're pumping into the body at such a small child. I don't know.
But if it prevents a child ending up as sick as this child I'm talking about, who's a perfectly healthy child, and got full-blown influenza, and that's what the child ended up in hospital with on Monday night. Now, nobody wants that, and I can tell you from my colleague from talking to him earlier on, it was terrifying how sick his child was.
Oh, I can't imagine. I'm sure it's the worst thing in the world, but I think there needs to be more research done into why certain kids react so badly to the flu, and perhaps those children need to get the flu vaccine.
Yeah, but sure, how do you know until that actually happens?
Well, I know, but there needs to be something to see why some kids react so badly to it and others not. So, but hopefully it's the minority.
I don't know if there even is an answer to that. And like I said, I'm putting myself in the same category as you, Dara, that touch wood, I'm never sick. I've never, a sniffle every now and again, but that's about the height of it. And I haven't gotten the flu vaccine this year, possibly for similar reasons to what you're saying here, but I'm an adult and I make that decision for myself. And it's when I hear of children, and the adverts do say children can get particularly sick from the flu, and that's the concerning part. Let's have a listen to this from Susan.
Just in relation to the flu vaccine, I'm the same as well. I've tried several chemists and doctors, and they all say it's sold out and it's not available, and to keep trying in a couple of weeks, or they've even stopped taking lists for people because they just haven't got it. That's in the Balbriggan area. All right,
thank you, Balbriggan. Claire?
Yeah, I agree. Kids should get it. I got my daughter. If she had been allowed it before now, I would have got it for her. She suffers with chest infections and colds every single year, and fingers crossed this will protect her. She had no protection years previous. So yeah, I was absolutely delighted she got it, and no side effects.
All right, and from most people I've spoken to or been listening to, any of the kids that have had the flu vaccine have had no side effects, which is great. Jennifer, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
Now, one of your children suffers badly with asthma, so that's one of the reasons you decided to get him vaccinated.
Yeah, he does. He's always coughing and sneezing, and then even with hay fever, you get the hay fever and he'd be coughing and sneezing. And then he has younger siblings as well, so I decided it's there now. I'm going to get it done and see how he goes with this. And he does still have an odd sniffle here and there, and he still needs his inhalers, but he's not extremely sick, like getting a full-on blown flu, like with a chest infection, a bad cough or anything like that. He's had no side effects at all from it. So I think it's working for him.
And that's great to hear. And what about people, and one of the most common arguments that you get where it comes to this particular flu vaccine this year is kids need to build up their immunity, and if the best way to do it is naturally and to fight the infection if you get it.
No, I think that's bullshit. I'm sorry, but I do. Like, if kids are going to get extremely sick, they're going to get sick, okay? This is fighting off. Now, the most my kids have had is an odd runny nose now since I've gotten this for them. Like, beforehand, my second little boy, he's 3, and he started school this year, and every couple of days he was coming home with runny nose, coughs. He was out nearly for the first week and a half, I'd say, when he started back. He started back, and then the week after that he was out sick, and he hadn't been sick through the whole time that he wasn't in school. Then my little girl, she's 2, she got sick. She got really sick as well. She had chest infections, ear infections, the whole shebang. Then I have a baby now. She's just turned 1. She couldn't get it done. And then if she was old enough, I would have got her vaccinated as well. So, like, they were all sick through within a couple of weeks of each other. So I just decided when the flu vaccination came, I was going to get the ones that could get it done, and see how they go. And so far, so good. They haven't been sick, little runny nose here and there, but other than that, they've had no side effects, and they're all healthy and happy children.
All right, but stay there for 1 second. So you think it's ridiculous for parents to argue that they need to build up their immunity naturally and they don't need a vaccine?
Yeah, because, like, I don't believe that no children are ever sick. They don't get a full-on blown flu. They're going to get a little runny nose or a little cough. Like, I know some kids will get extreme bad flus. Like, as you said, that little boy has that influenza. Some kids naturally will get really sick. Do you know what I mean? But I know from talking to his parents, he is sorry that he didn't get him vaccinated last week. It wasn't available to him last week, and he was due to get it this week. And he could have prevented him being as sick as he's been. Like, I know from my son who's 11, he suffered from asthma as a young child. He suffered with ear infections, chest infections, everything. And, throughout the years, he's been sick. And since I've gotten this now, I know it's only been 5 weeks since he's had this done, but he hasn't been extremely sick. He's just had like a little runny nose or a sniffle.
Which is great. Okay, well, fingers crossed that it stays that way. Stay there for 1 second, Jennifer, because Michael, you're a dad who will not be getting your child the flu vaccine. Why not?
There's no need for it.
There's no need for it?
There's absolutely no need for it to be getting kids the flu vaccine.
Why not?
I never got it.
Okay, man. That's hardly a good enough reason.
What's funny, Adrian, though? Seriously,
Michael, I'll tell you what's funny, is a kid that I know ended up in Crumlin the other night, extraordinarily sick with full-blown flu. Now,
I'm sorry for that kid, I'm sorry for their parents, but that's got nothing to do with vaccines.
Well, if he had had the vaccine last week, he probably wouldn't have ended up as sick in hospital.
No, that's the problem. You don't know that.
But sure, isn't that the whole idea of getting the vaccine in the first place?
No, that's what you've been told.
Oh, that's what I've been told.
Yeah, that's what you've been told. That's what you're choosing to believe. But there's absolutely no correlation between that child getting the flu. You know what's been going on in that child's life. That child might have been born with a compromised immune system.
The child is perfectly healthy, Michael. There's nothing wrong with the young fella.
Yeah, but you don't know that, though. You don't know what's going on in that child's life. The child, you've absolutely no idea what could have caused that. This whole thing.
The flu caused him to end up in hospital.
Well, no, the flu only gets you when your immune system's down. That's the whole purpose of flu. It gets you. Flu is everywhere, but it only gets you when your immune system's down or your immune system's compromised.
Yeah, so if you get vaccinated, you have a protection against it.
That's a belief system that is not doesn't have science to back it up. Well, hang on, Adrian. This is the problem, right?
Sir, you have the medical expertise to undermine the official advice from our Department of Health and medical experts that it is an advisory to get children vaccinated. But you know better, do you, Michael?
Well, it's not just me.
Oh, it's not just you.
No, it's not just me. I'm not some lone voice in the wind here. There's a lot of scientists and doctors that say vaccines are useless. They don't work. Okay, I'm just someone who's choosing. The real problem here is, right, if you believe in vaccines, right?
Okay, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Hang on for 1 second. Let me just give you an example.
You've made your point.
No, I want to make another point. I want to make another point.
Argument.
I know somebody personally.
You don't believe in your argument because you won't let me make a point.
I know somebody personally. If you listen to me for a second, I know somebody personally who, as a child, contracted polio, and that woman to this day, and she's in her 70s now, is deformed as a result of what polio did to her body. Now, we have eradicated polio thanks to vaccines. So her kids won't get it, her grandkids won't get it, yet she got it at a time where we didn't have a vaccine against polio. We've eradicated it.
See, I want to go back to the point I was trying to make. I'll engage on that one, right? I can show you a ton of evidence that say that the polio vaccine actually caused all that problem. And there's been documentaries made about, especially in India, where they introduced the vaccine, and next thing you know, polio became a thing over there. So, I mean, there's counter arguments.
Why don't we have polio here? Why don't we have polio here in Ireland? We don't.
Point I want to make
because we eradicated it.
Now, I can discuss that with you. You can't discuss these subjects in 2 seconds or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You have to have a proper long discussion about it. But I want to make a point. Can I make me point?
No, because you're not prepared to have a conversation over that.
No, you're keeping the conversation
Michael,
on one level.
There is an example.
Have a conversation. You're afraid.
I'm not afraid of anything, Michael.
Well,
Stop it now. No. You're going to defend that point that I just made.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
Polio is a chronic disease that ravaged.
Subject.
No, I'm not. We're talking about vaccines, and I'm talking about the fact that polio as a chronic disease has been eradicated from this country as a result of vaccines.
That's nonsense. We're promoting vaccines here, and there's no discussion at all. This is a one-way conversation.
Okay, well, go on. Make your point.
You won't. Okay, the point is, right?
By the way, Michael, if it was one way, I wouldn't have let you on the air. So continue.
That's nonsense. My point is this, right? If you want to get a vaccine, or you as a parent want to choose to get a vaccine, I don't have an issue with that, right? Go and do that, right? If your belief system is that vaccines work, that should be it. Go get your vaccine. Do whatever you like. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with anyone getting a vaccine at all. I would never stand in the way of anyone getting a vaccine. I would never criticise anyone for getting a vaccine. I would never criticise anyone for getting a vaccine for their kids. Would never do that. Here's the problem. I don't believe in them. I can put up a good argument that the science is not there, so I should be left alone. And I can get doctors and scientists to prove that vaccines don't do what they say on the tin, right? Mm-hmm. Good, credible people that aren't lunatics, that have proper evidence, that can put up a good argument, right? So that's the problem. The problem is, if vaccines work, then you should have nothing to worry about. You shouldn't be worried about other people getting vaccines. You shouldn't be worried about your kids catching something from someone else if vaccines work. This is the problem. Leave people alone. There is science.
But we don't have, and we're not going to have mandatory vaccination. And, even when it comes to the COVID vaccine next year, it won't be mandatory. You can get it if you choose to get it. You can decide not to get it if you choose not to get it. So,
you say it's not mandatory, but there seems to be a kind of a shaming thing going on, a kind of a divide where people who don't get vaccines, people who don't go along with the whole vaccine thing, there's something wrong with them. There's some sort of, they're deficient.
Okay, but let me play two messages that have come in that I've been asked to play for you. This first one is from Rona.
Michael needs to get his facts straight. Vaccines do work. They've been proven to work. 7 years ago, I took very sick. I am now living with a lifelong illness, and I have to get the flu vaccine every year and the pneumococcal vaccine to help keep me safe. And I have to say, I have not had a flu or an extremely bad cold or chest infection ever since I started that vaccine. Prior to that, I would have had them. So, they do actually work. Michael, do you want to stop arguing there?
And there you are, Michael. What do you say to that?
She is displaying a belief system. She's given.
This is all about belief systems.
She's given, a belief system. She believes that the vaccine has stopped her from getting sick. Maybe she wasn't that sick in the first. We don't know her backstory. We don't know nothing about what's going on with her. That's the truth. Like, she's coming on saying the vaccine has done this for me. It was like, okay, fair enough. You can say that all you like, but Can you prove that? Can you prove that in the real world? Can you actually put down real solid evidence that the vaccine did this for you, other than the fact that you believe that that's what
Okay, the one thing that I can argue, and I've already tried to argue, and you're just not listening to me, is vaccines work.
I'm just not agreeing with you.
Vaccines work to the point that we have eradicated chronic conditions like polio from this country. It wasn't because it just disappeared.
I've seen evidence that completely dismisses that.
So why do we not have kids deformed with polio in Ireland? We don't. We just don't.
There's a reason for that.
Because of the vaccine.
I've seen doctors and scientists and from India and all over the world give explanations to that. And people should go out, and if people want to know that the evidence is out there, they can go look for themselves. I'm not
right, so polio would have just disappeared anyway, would it?
Well, I'll give you in a quick nutshell. The real evidence says that the vaccine caused the polio in the first place. And people can go and get the evidence. If they really want to know, go and look it up. No, I'm not.
Michael, now you're sounding like a conspiracy theorist lunatic.
I can call you a racist then. I can call you a racist.
Why?
Because you're saying that Indian doctors and Indian scientists are liars and racist. Or you're saying that they're fantasists.
No, I'm trying to tell you that this relative that I'm talking about, a relative of mine who is to this day deformed from polio because there was no vaccine to that illness when she was a kid.
Yeah, but I know a guy who's on crutches. His legs aren't fully formed, right, because it's so-called polio. But look at. Michael, actually, I'm going to take that as a personal insult to my aunt who had polio as a kid. I'm not
so-called polio. You are. You just called it so-called polio. Oh, Michael, I've had enough now. I've had enough. Back in a sec.
The sound of the city, from Sallynoggin to Swords. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Just a couple of your messages coming in. I can't believe, says this message, I can't believe Adrian just cut off one of the leading YouTube experts on vaccines. Shame on him. Oh, sorry about that. Teresa, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Adrian. How are you doing?
Now, your grandson got the vaccine yesterday, the flu vaccine.
He did. He's having he had verrucas, so she got him an appointment. But, Dr. Niall Hurley, who's in Ballymun practice, said to Mum, would you like to have Ryan vaccinated? You know, with the spray.
Yes.
And Nikki said, yeah. She said, why not have it done now? He would have, I don't mean underlying conditions, as he's always had a runny nose and whatever, but he got it. And I would urge, to be honest, it's only a spray.
And that's what I was saying earlier on. It's not even a scary injection. It's a spray up the nose. It's no biggie, really. Sure it's not.
Not at all, no. Because he himself was asking the doctor questions.
Oh, was he? Very good. And like we said, this isn't mandatory. It's not mandatory. You know, we're not going to pull kids out of their houses and shove this thing up their nose. This is a choice that parents have, as with all vaccinations. But when I heard of my colleague's son in hospital on Monday night in Crumlin and how sick he really, really was, and this child has no underlying conditions or anything like that, it was scary to hear how sick the young fellow was. So
I heard it earlier. It really is.
Yeah, and as a parent, I think we all want to prevent that happening. Let me just squeeze in a couple more messages. This is Paul.
Hi, Adrian. The reason why people won't get the vaccine for their children is they will not build up an immune system. Simple as Paul, Dublin.
All right, Paul, thank you. Karina is here.
Hi,
eventually.
Adrian. My name is Karina. I got my child vaccinated there, my GP there last month, as I had to get the flu vaccine myself as I'm heavily pregnant. But I wasn't sure whether to get my child done because so many people were against it and saying, oh, I was wrong to do it. But then, you know what, I decided to do it anyway, because since he was born, he's been in hospital with respiratory problems, bronchiolitis and everything, and not able to breathe, and chest infections and everything. But since he got the vaccination, he's been fine, not a bother on him. It only took 2 minutes to get it done, nasal spray up his nose, and he's good as gold.
All right, just 2 more messages. This is Jess.
Morning, Adrian. I have 2 little girls, 6 and 7, and I got them vaccinated 2 weeks ago, but I was waiting 2.5 weeks to get them vaccinated. Bit of a runny nose afterwards on one of them, but otherwise they haven't got a cold this year. Happy days.
All right, thanks very much indeed, all of you, for your messages. This is 98 FM.
The sound of the city, from Lucan to Lusk. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
And we're here until midday today. Have you been watching? I want to just completely change gears for a minute. Have you been watching I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? I love it every year, and I have to give ITV credit. They've reinvented it, and okay, it's not the same, but it's not bad either. But anyway, if you were watching I'm a Celebrity, you'd have seen Jordan North is his name. He's a BBC radio DJ, and he was on, and he was terrified of heights, and he climbed down a cliff, and he was absolutely terrified of snakes, and still got into a box full of snakes. And I want to find out from you, what fears have you been able to overcome? Now, we all have something. For me, I wouldn't have been very fond of heights, for example. And a number of years ago, and it was terrifying, I have to be honest with you, but a number of years ago, I abseiled down one of the last remaining towers in Ballymun. Maybe 10 years ago, before they were all taken down. And that was terrifying. But I did it. I pushed myself and I did it. Our Jeremy was with me that day and he chickened out, just to let you know. But I did it. And it was terrifying, but I did it. Anyway, I want to find out from you, what fear you were able to overcome. Let's have a listen to a little bit of Jordan North on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here earlier on in the week.
What do you think, Jordan?
I genuinely, I don't think I've ever been this scared in my entire life.
Genuinely?
Genuinely. I mean, I don't like flying and I feel nervous before I get on an aeroplane, but this...
To 30!
30.
Anti-clockwise! 30!
Don't know.
Keep breathing. Stay focused on the safe.
No, happy place. I can't do it.
Yes, you can. You got it.
Yes, you can.
Shane!
Well done, left!
Happy place, Turfmore.
And I did think, initially I thought he was hamming it up a little bit, but I don't think he was really. He was terrified of snakes. Yet he was buried with snakes. I remember, in fact, this is a dig at you again, Jeremy. A couple of years ago, we did our Code Red thing where we were living in a box in the city centre. And one of the challenges that we had to do is to wear a snake around our neck for 10 minutes. I did it, no bother. Jeremy ran. He actually ran out of the box and wouldn't take on the challenge. So he didn't beat that fear at all. I want to hear from you. Send me a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98. What fear have you managed to overcome because you dealt with it head on? Let's get this one out of the way first. This is funny, yeah? Hang on.
Adrian, how are you doing? Scotchy born here. Over the years, I've had a fear, but eventually got over after 25 years. So she's not the worst. There's the wife.
Ha 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 ha. You're going to be popular when you get home later on. Send me a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98. So to his credit, that young fella Jordan North on I'm a Celebrity the other night, he was petrified. You could see the look of absolute fear in his face. And he didn't have to do it. He could have shouted, "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here," and not done it at all. But he did do it. And he confronted his fears. And his fear was, one of his fears earlier on in the week was heights. And he abseiled off a cliff in Wales. And his other major fear was snakes. And he dealt with that head on. So what fear have you managed to overcome? Send me a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Dan, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Dan?
Not too bad. I can't complain, Adrian. How are you?
Tell me about the Hellfire Club.
Oh, it was a nightmare. We went over for a few drinks with a couple of pals and thought it was a good idea to climb up on it. And I said, yeah, that's grand. Easy peasy. Getting up was easy, that was no problem. But when I got up there then, it was like, it looked a lot higher then. It was a real issue for me. And I started screaming, "Ring the fire brigade, get me out of here!" And two tiny women with fancy cameras came over speaking a different language, didn't understand them. But fair play to them, the two of them together helped me down while all my friends were pointing up and laughing at me.
Now, are you saying you climbed up on top of the building, or it was just the height of the mountain?
The little small kind of wall attached to the building. Like.
Yes, yeah. And you were
you think it's like small, but it isn't.
No, it's not. No, actually, that was one of the most terrifying experiences I ever had in my life. We did a live show from the Hellfire Club.
I was listening.
No, I'll never forget it as long as I live. And in the middle of the show, and people to this day think we were blagging it. It wasn't blagged. A dead goat's head fell down the chimney. Now, I don't know if somebody put it there earlier in the day, but the smell of this thing, I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was.
You should do it again. You should do that again, Adrian.
Oh, I have to think about that. That was actually one of the last Halloween shows we did, and that terrified me. It terrified me. It was vile. Anyway, okay, thanks very much. You overcame that fear. What fear have you managed to overcome in your life? As I said, heights I'm not great on. I'm still not great with heights, I'll be honest with you. But I have done it. I have done it. We were on a cruise a couple of years ago, myself and my wife, and they have this frame thing, and you kind of you're harnessed in, and you walk along these beams, and it goes out over the side of the ship, and it was terrifying. Now, I did it. And my wife did it as well, eventually. Now, she had a bit of a meltdown on the thing. The whole ship was looking at her, but she did it. But I did ask her, would she do it again? She said no. So that's not conquering your fear. That's not conquering your fear. Conquering your fear is doing something and knowing you could actually do it again. So I wouldn't be a fan of the abseiling, but I know I did it once, I could do it again. So... yeah. Send me a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98. What fear have you managed to overcome? Cara sent me this. This is also about heights.
Hi Adrian, Cara here. One of my fears would be definitely heights. Oh my God, I've just such a fear of them. It even just thinking about it, I'm just like, whoa. But there about 2 years ago, I managed to actually get myself up to the top of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which is probably one of the tallest buildings in the world. And that was pretty amazing, I have to say. And also, I managed to get myself up to the top of the Rock in New York. So, yeah, I was able to overcome them. But even still to this day, just the thoughts of height and just looking down is just like, whoa. But once you do it, it's just so rewarding. You feel so great. But so that's good. Thanks very much. Hope you have a nice day.
All right, Cara, fair play to you. And having a fear of heights is it's very difficult even to explain. And you go up a building, and I was up the Burj Khalifa a couple of years ago myself in Dubai, and my God, it's high. It's like being in an airplane, to be honest with you. But I have known of people that this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I may never be in Dubai again. And I decided, no, even if I have to pay, I'm going up to as high in this building as you can go. And I did. And it was... In fact, Darren, you can't go up high buildings at all unless you use the stairs.
Yeah, I'm terrified of elevators. It doesn't matter how big they are. I'd actually walk 1,000 flights of stairs and go into an elevator. I just cannot do it. It's the fear. The minute the door opens and I take one look in, it's just like I shut down. I can't deal with it.
So you've not overcome that fear then?
I still haven't overcome it, and I have tried. And even with the job I do, sometimes requires going into even apartment complexes. And when I go into the building and I'm told, the person's on the 4th floor or something, I do be actually cursing them. I do think there's no way they can make their way down to me. I know that's terrible. I just can't do it.
But do you ever do it?
I've went into elevators probably twice in the last 6 months, and I'll be honest with you, I do be sweating. I honestly feel like crying. I just feel like crying.
So you're not afraid of heights, you're afraid of the elevator?
I'm afraid of the elevators.
Right, so it wouldn't bother you going up the Burj Khalifa, for example, in Dubai, except it would take you about 5 hours to go up?
I couldn't care. I have no problem with heights. I actually would enjoy the view, but just don't put me in the little box to get me to the top.
Yeah, that was the maddest part of that visit to the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. The lift, it goes so fast. The counter counting the floors, it goes up. It goes up in tens. That's how fast the thing goes up, and your ears pop and everything going up in it. It's an amazing experience. But you wouldn't be able to go up there because you wouldn't be able to. Well, it would take you forever to walk up the stairs.
To be honest, I'd give it a good try, but I just cannot. Any kind of elevator, to me, it's going into a moving coffin.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me go to. Thanks very much. Let me go to Mo. Mo, you're afraid of heights?
Yep.
What do you work at?
A pilot.
Sorry?
A pilot.
You're afraid of heights? And you work as a pilot?
You'd actually be surprised how many pilots I've met that are afraid of heights. It's ridiculous.
Really?
Yep.
So obviously you've overcome your fear because you fly planes.
Yeah, because I couldn't even go into the elevator, and I'm like, how am I going to do this? But I did.
So when you're flying a plane, are you a commercial pilot or?
Yeah.
Okay. When you're flying a plane, are you like edgy because you're up really high, or have you gotten over it now?
No, I'm not edgy at all. It's different. I don't know really what it is.
Could you go up? Could you go up a big tall building?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
So you can go 37,000 feet in the air in the cockpit of an airplane, but you couldn't go up the Burj Khalifa in Dubai?
Nope.
Did you tell them?
I don't get it.
Did you tell them during the job interview that you are applying for a job as a pilot, but you're afraid of heights?
No.
No, I'm sure you didn't, because it would have been a red mark against your name. That's mad.
No,
that is.
Yes, it would be. Yeah.
Okay, so
but like I said, a lot of pilots are scared of heights.
Really? That's bizarre.
A few that I've met anyway.
I would have thought it was a prerequisite to being a pilot to not being afraid of heights, but obviously not.
No.
Obviously not. All right, fair. But anyway, you've because you're a pilot, you have overcome that fear. Certainly in the plane, although you wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Although you wouldn't go up a tall building.
No.
No. All right. Great to talk to you, Mo. Thanks very much indeed.
You too.
Let me squeeze in another couple. We're talking about fears that you have overcome. Sean.
Hey, Adrian. Sean here. Just like yourself, a crazy fear of heights. But back when I was 20, I was in Canada with my parents and went up to CN Tower in Toronto. Little did I know, when you got up there, it was a glass floor. Let's just say I put Macaulay Culkin's screaming Home Alone to shame.
Fair play, Sean. Darren.
Hi, guys. For absolute years, I've been trying to conquer a fear of elevators. I just cannot do elevators, regardless to how big they are inside. Can't do it. I actually would walk 1,000 flight of stairs than go into one elevator. I swear to God, I just cannot do it. It's like the fear of them getting stuck, the lights going out, and you're just in this box and you can't see the outside world. It's a genuine fear. Cannot do it. The people, even in my job, do laugh at me and say, oh, come on, I'll go in with you. I just cannot do it. The fear is just immense.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Darren. One of my fears, actually, that I'm going to try and overcome is playing WhatsApp voice notes from people who've already been on the air. I really fear it. Gary sent me this.
All right, how getting on? Well, one was having to do a best man speech at my mate's wedding there about 3-4 years ago. God, I was so nervous for months coming up to it. But after a few drinks on the day, I just went for it, and it actually went all right in the end. I'm not sure if I do it again now, so probably not conquering my fears, but I did get through that day. Love the show, boys.
Good man, Gary. That's a lovely Wicklow. Is that a Wicklow accent? I think it is. Believe it or not, that's a fear I would have as well. I can easily speak on the radio or speak on stage, but ask me to do a best man speech. Oh, no. That would terrify me. It would terrify me. Anyway, there you are. And my wife, Linda, also has a fear of the Port Tunnel, which she has overcome. She just closes her eyes going through the Port Tunnel. And I have to let her know, no, not when she's driving the car. If I'm driving the car. And my daughter Laura's boyfriend Barry is afraid of absolutely everything. Barry, that was Laura who sent that in. He's afraid of absolutely everything and has overcome no fears at all. You're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Our Parent Talk slot is next.
The sound of the city, from Adamstown to Artane. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. 98 FM's Parent Talk with Super Value Home Delivery. Get your lunchbox fillers sorted with Super Value Online Shopping.
Every Wednesday at around about this time, 98 FM's Dublin Talks brings you Parent Talk, where we put various questions to our parenting expert, Joanna Fortune, and she always has very insightful answers. Joanna, good morning to you once again.
Good morning.
Now, a couple of questions that we have to put to you this week. The first one is from Derval. So have a listen to this. This came into us actually last Wednesday. Adrian, can you ask your parenting expert her opinion on this? Paying your kids to do jobs around the house, is it setting a good example or a bad example? Myself and my husband are thinking of doing it, paying our 8-year-old money if she does certain jobs around the house, like tidying her room and so on. And that's from Derval. Well,
I mean, it's not that there's right or wrong with this, because it's very much a parental choice. But, you know, for what it's worth, I think, you know, children benefit from having chores, and from the youngest age. Like children as young as 2 years old can and should have chores around the house. You know, if you're 2 years old, you can bring your nappy to the bin, you can straighten your duvet, you can put your pajamas under the pillow or carry your laundry to the basket. You can bring your used plates over to the counter. You know, I think part of being in a family is that everybody chips in and helps out. And to some extent, that is simply part of being in a family, and therefore shouldn't be something you're paying them for or incentivizing, or saying if you do this chore then you can get some privilege, be it money or be it time or something like that. But what I would say is, if you're looking at this as, and you know your kids really well, and you think, gosh, you know, this actually would be a good behavioural incentivization, why don't you have a few, and literally 2 or 3 now, it's not like you're going to put them to work around the house all day, every day, tempting as that might be, but have 2 or 3 chores that are standard, that your 8-year-old has to do because that's part of being in the family and they don't get paid for that. And then have a little jar that inside you fold up extra or over and above chores, little bonus chores that your 8-year-old can decide, I really want to earn some money, or I really want to earn a privilege or an entitlement. I'm going to take a chore out of the jar and I'm going to do this as my extra. Okay, so that they actually come to you and say, look, I'm going to do an extra chore, and, you know, you've you know, kind of agreed with them how much you'll pay them for doing something like that. I would support that, but I wouldn't be paying them for doing every chore, because otherwise you're teaching them inadvertently that something is only worth doing if I get paid for it. And as soon as you ask, once I'm older than 8, as soon as you're asking me to do something, my default will, why will I do it? What are you going to give me to do that? So you could be creating a whole world of problem there, when some things you just have to do because part of being in a family is helping out.
Okay, so maybe paying something for chores that are above and beyond the call of duty, basically.
Exactly, but that there should always be standard things that they have to do.
All right, very good. And another message that we got in last Wednesday, and by the way, if you have a question that you'd like me to put to Joanna, just send it to us through WhatsApp to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Sally sent me this. She says, my son is 15, will be 16 in a few weeks. We're pretty sure he has tried alcohol with his friends, although he denies it. What do you think of the idea of letting him have a few drinks with us over Christmas? We don't want drink to be a taboo subject with him, and we don't want to make it seem evil. Or will that make him want it all the more? And that's from a lady called Sally.
Oh, Sally, so many questions within a question. And, that really just points to you're not quite certain yourself what to do. So until you are, I would say do nothing on this. Think it all through very carefully. I totally understand look, we want to demystify it, normalise it, and wouldn't he be safer trying it with us there, and we can keep an eye on it and make sure he's safe. I get all of that, but unfortunately the research just doesn't support that way of doing it. Teenagers are neurologically wired to engage in thrill-seeking, risk-taking behaviour. Okay, the part of the brain associated with reward develops really quickly in adolescence. And the part of the brain that goes, hang on, is that really such a good idea? That takes until mid to late 20s to fully develop. So even if you bend a boundary and say, sure, have a drink, but you can't have it anywhere but with us. Your teenager is already hardwired to say, I see your boundary and it is my developmental job to push that, test it, and try to break and get beyond it. So if you say drink at home, that doesn't mean he won't drink to excess with his friends. In fact, the research says he definitely will, and he may drink even more outside of the house. There's extensive research in this area, and it would also point to how parental attitudes to drinking and alcohol is the greatest influence and, effect on teenagers drinking. So if they see us drinking to excess, getting drunk or getting messy when drunk or getting aggressive when drunk, that's going to be a huge influence on their drinking habits. So you are in a position here to actually lead by positive example, but I don't think going down the road of sharing drinks with him at home is the best way to do it. But what you do want is exactly what you've said, avoid it being a taboo subject, but do that with keeping the lines of communication open. If you're pretty sure he's tried alcohol, you must have a reason to be sure. You've seen something, observed something, you have a suspicion, and you can come at that with a curiosity, and curiosity should never feel like an interrogation. It can be playful and say, I'm wondering about this, and I'm not saying it is or isn't okay, but what I am telling you is it's always okay to talk to me about it. And it is always okay for me to talk to you about it. So if I notice something, I'm going to bring it up with you. It doesn't mean you're in trouble, but I am going to bring it up with you because this is one of those things that we need to be able to talk about together. And I think if you already have that suspicion, start the conversation. Get curious about it. Sometimes it's safer to other it, so you can say, come here, any of your friends drinking? Are you aware in your peer group that this is going on? Or I heard this lady on the radio mentioning this and it made me realise we've never talked about it. Are you thinking of drinking, or is it something you've already tried? And how you approach it gives permission for the conversation. But, I really don't think having him drink at home with you is the answer.
All right. Great advice as always. Joanna Fortune, thank you very much indeed for joining us on the programme as always today. And if you have a question that you'd like me to put to Joanna next week, send us a WhatsApp right now to 0877 98 98 98. And 98 FM's Parent Talk is with SuperValue online shopping, supervalue.ie. That's it from us for today. Thank you for joining us. Back again tomorrow morning at 10. And if there's anything you want us to bring up on the programme tomorrow, send us an email right throughout the afternoon at any stage to Dublin Talks at 98fm.com. Have a great Wednesday. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 10. Barry Dunn is on the way, and he's got some great music lined up in the next hour, like these.
Say yes, just say there's nothing.
98 FM.